Uh, so, I'm back for the second part of Confused Matthew's Lion King review, but the fourth part of my commentary to this review. That's kind of weird. I wasted a lot of time. Well, who gives a crap? I should... that's weird. You got to be kidding me. Come on, I didn't use the avatar that long. Okay, whatever. So before I go, I wanted to say, you were all fantastic. And, you know what? So was I. So, where were we? Oh yeah, the commentary.
Hi and welcome to part 2. So when we last met our hero Simba, he had caused every problem in what would otherwise have been a peaceful kingdom, and his father was about to chastise him for it.
Okay, so again, I'm very confused. He didn't cause any kind of problem. The only problem he caused was, well, yeah, he got chased by hyenas. And that was just his problem. And, well, okay, his girlfriend's problem too. As well as their British watch over birds problem. But he didn't really cause that much of other problems. Tell me.
Now, I'm not a big fan of the gratuitous compliment, but it seems I must give one here. I didn't hate this scene. It is in fact the only scene in the film that made me neither ill nor annoyed. That's a gratuitous compliment because it did make me very confused. I didn't understand these two characters at all after this scene. I mean, if Simba loves and respects his father this much, why doesn't he ever listen to him? And if Mufasa is this good a parent and teacher, then how did Simba turn out to be such a little asshole in the first place?
So, I'm assuming after what I just heard, that you, Matthew, just skipped over the morning scene, you know, the one with everything that your the light touches. And you also skipped over the following scene. Those were two important scenes, which was established that, well, you guessed it, those two have a very good father-son relationship. That's fucking obvious. Dude, buy yourself some eyes and ears to hear and to see, so that you can receive information through your eyes or your ears, which then get transformed in your brain to certain information connected to your experiences, therefore building... Well, I don't have to explain everything in single detail. I just say it's obvious. Just watch the Everything the Light Touches and Morning Report scene. Those are the two scenes which are the most important ones. By the way, for those who are wondering, yeah, some water is boiling in the background.
So after these two have a little bonding time, we then cut to a scene where the hyenas are upset about not killing the kid. This scene then rolls into the most pointless villain song I've ever heard in my life. The only thing we learn in this song is that Scar is using the hyenas to try to take over the Pride Lands. We know. That's what he just tried to do.
Actually, not really. He was there, but... Well, that's what I thought, by the way, when I watched the movie for the first time. It looks almost as if the hyenas were just living there. And he knew that, and well, the other hyenas were starving, and so he just sent off his nephew to go there. And, well, as I said, it looks almost as if they were just on their own, and had no connection to Scott whatsoever. So, your point is busted.
So after this gratuitous scene, we then see Scar taking Simba to a rock in the middle of nowhere. Now to keep this brief, I'll just sum this up for you. Hyenas cause stampede, Simba gets caught up, father saves his life, Scar kills father.
Matthew behaves like a total dickhead.
Simba very sad. This is in fact supposed to be one of the saddest moments in cinematic history, but I just didn't see it that way. I mean, it's a little kid who just lost a parent. That has a default setting of being generally sad.
Of course, Matthew, are an asshole. Dude. Okay, just... Are you even listening to yourself? After you recorded what you said, do you even consider listening to yourself? Matthew, what you just said sounded so cruel. It's almost as if you didn't really care, as if you wouldn't care in real life when you just see someone's father died, and someone is a little kid. A little kid is not able to understand death, at least not at that kind of depth, and a little kid wouldn't be that calm. It's a fucking kid. We learned a lot about this character. We learned about their bond. But since you, for some reason, skip very important parts of the movie or misinterpreted them, you are just assuming that everyone else did the same. And therefore, you're going with this stupid, assholey, monstrous, totally ridiculous sentence that, well, it's not said, it's just supposed to be said just because some kid's father died. I just repeat this one, some kid's father died. Do you even get it? Matthew, a kid is, after such an experience, traumatized, has no idea what the hell's going on. Everything around him is crumbling. And as I said, we learn a lot about his character. And, well, not the stuff you say. Because, well, as I said, well, I explained it from part 1, 2, 3 of my commentary. We learn this character, we learn him, how he lives, we learn, as I said, also the bond between him and his father. And that's a very important point of this scene. He's dead. His dad is dead. Was one of his important persons in his life. His dad just died. He is now kind of lonely, and he also has no idea why. And maybe he's still alive. I mean, the point that made me crying back then, or, well, back then the whole scene made me crying. But nowadays it's just one sentence. When Simba says, "Let's go home," it's just, he has still this illusion in his mind that his father might be alive. It's a fucking hopeless scene. It's a so dark scene. It's a sad scene because we know a lot about his character. But I don't get how you came to such a conclusion, just saying, well, it's just a little kid, looks like his father. That's not bad at all. Seriously. I want to see you in real life saying this to someone whose father just died. I hope you're not as you are in... I hope you're a different person in real life. Well, if you're not, then... Dude. I know a store right across the street. They sell hearts there. Think before you speak, asshole. Think before you speak. Of course it's supposed to be sad. Gosh.
But since we don't like Simba, and we didn't know Mufasa very well, it's just really hard to care about this in any way except just generally.
What? You can't just go with the whole, since we... Or wait a second, are you schizophrenic? You know, a person with multiple personalities? Well, that would make sense, but you're again assuming that I'm just going to applaud to what you said and totally agree to the fact that you just got on like, well, it's just someone's father's dead, and a little kid lost his father. A little kid. And since we don't like him, I like the character. And I knew also his father very well because of certain scenes in the movie. But you dumbass! I don't know, as I said, I do believe you just skipped the scenes. Because anything else wouldn't make any kind of sense. Sorry, but no.
What follows this is the most underexplained moment in the entire
review. Oh, sorry. I guess you wanted to say film.
And that's a big deal because it's also one of the most crucial points in the film. What in all fucking hell makes Simba think that this is his fault?
Don't you just love it when you just encounter such part in certain reviews where someone just goes on and on assuming that his point of view is so flawless and everyone agrees at this point that he has won over his viewers. You see, it's not the way you think it is, Matthew. You should at least try to go on and say, in my opinion, not it is the way it is. Okay, so here is what happened. Simba fought because his father tried to save him, and during this save action, his father died. After he saved him, of course. So, that's number 1 on my list of things I'm going to say to bust this argument. Therefore, as I said, Simba thought that, well, his father had saved him. And by saving him kinda destroyed his own life. Second point would be he roared, therefore caused a stampede. You might now saying that, wait a minute, that's bullshit. He shouldn't have known it, and also his uncle told him to roar. He had no order to roar. His uncle just said he might work on this little roar. And in this case it seems still more like it's his fault. It's not his fault, of course it's not, because that's just what he is supposed to think. That's the point of the whole thing. Anyway, point number 3. Since you've said that, well, yeah, it seems a little bit awkward that Simba would just go with the whole thing. Do you realize what it would be like if you had lost your father at a very, very young age? Right after his death, you have no idea what's going on. And later on in the movie, you could maybe make the argument that, well, by now he had probably figured out that this is next to impossible that he had caused the stampede. I mean, his role was so small. Shut up and think. He's traumatized. The details of everything aren't stuck in his head. It's just sorta what happened. 50% of what happened is probably saved in his mind, which is the stampede, not what caused the stampede. That was not the traumatizing moment. The traumatizing moment was the stampede itself. He remembered the stampede. He remembered his father's death. Therefore, he never realized that he was not the person who caused the death stampede. How easy is that? That's how traumatized people, at least I guess, think. The traumatizing moment itself is the thing they remember and therefore fear. Not the moment before the traumatizing moment. So yeah, it makes sense because he's traumatized. Duh.
It's not like he caused the stampede, and the only thing that makes to him is
shut
the king
up,
is
Matthew.
dead,
Seriously,
and if it
skip
weren't
this
for
part where
you,
he just
he'd
goes
still
on and
be
on and on
alive.
about the same point
This
that just
implies that this is
explained.
supposed to be Simba's... This scene is the textbook definition of contrived. So anyway, Scar manages to dupe Simba, and then he exiles him from the kingdom. This is the only action taken in the film that can be interpreted in any way as good. Based on what we learned about Simba and how he planned to run this place, Scar probably just did the people of Pride Rock the biggest favor of their lives.
So yeah, of course, Matthew. Want a golden star here, some grannies who want to applaud to you. Oh, wait a second, no. How about the Queen giving him advice? I mean, the Queen giving Simba advice of how he could be a good king, and in the remaining time between him still getting raised up by his mother and he's starting his king time. Sorry, I just forgot the word. In this remaining time, he could get, well, a lot of people could in this time give him more advice, and he learns and learns and learns. By the way, that's a big important point of the movie, to learn. Learn to take your responsibility. That's actually the point of the movie.
So Scar goes back and tells the people that both Mufasa and Simba have been killed in the stampede, and since everyone in this film is either evil or a complete idiot, they all just take his word for it.
Well, what are they supposed to do? Okay, I do believe it's a little bit weird that, well, Simba's not around, his corpse are not around, but since it's a stampede, it could have meant that the stampede dragged his body away. And, well, it is quite possible, considering the fact that he was a cub. Well, and Mufasa's body is there, so what's the problem? I don't get it. There's really not that much they could have done. So, moving on, I guess.
Meanwhile, we find Simba roasting in the sun, and then we are introduced to Timon and Pumbaa.
And that's the part where I'm just going to say thank you for listening and watching to my third part of the commentary. Commentary on Confused Matthew's Lionkingview. Why do I pause here? Well, let's just say the second part, the fifth part, my fifth part, is going to be a lot of fun for me. Actually, I'm not joking here. Wanna know why? Because sometimes your enemy seems a little bit more familiar than you think. And when it comes to Confused Matthew's opinion about the two assholes, well, let's just say I don't agree to 100% with him, but to 56%. Have a nice day.